Be Emma Gabbert. Welcome. Introduce yourself for the record and begin.
Yes, thank you, Chair Fate. My name is Emma Gabbert, and I am Student Body President at Metro State University, and I am here with Students United to share my story of administering naloxone. It was June 2023, and I was on the light rail on my way to work. And two passengers boarded the train car, and one looked like he was about to fall asleep. And as the train began moving, he became unconscious. At this time, I did not know what was happening, so I administered CPR. I have that certification, so I started doing chest compressions and rescue breaths. Thankfully, the person that was with him then realized that he was suffering from an opioid overdose. At that point, he called out to the train car, "Does anyone have Narcan? Does anyone have naloxone?" And thank God, a fellow passenger did. They had a kit from the C. Rumler Hope Network. That is an organization that provides free naloxone kits across the state of Minnesota. So I had not been formally trained in naloxone, but I give blood, and so I knew the basics of needles and vials. So I took the needle, put it in the vial, which took up the Narcan, and did not know at the time that it could be administered similar to a vaccine, but I inserted it directly into his vein and did all 3 doses that came in the kit. And thankfully, a few minutes later, he woke up. His heart did stop, so without the CPR, the Narcan may not have brought him back. And in a similar fashion, without the Narcan, the CPR would not have been enough to remove the opioid receptors from his brain. I will also note that emergency services were called by a fellow train passenger, but they would not have come in time to save this man's life. So I am here today to ask your support of Senate File 164, because this initiative will truly save the lives of students across the state of Minnesota. And C. Rumler Hope Network is a wonderful partner in doing that. So yes, I will leave it, as Will said, leave it to you and ask that you vote in support of this bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Emma. Are there any questions for our testifiers? Senator Verbain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. I'm so sorry for your loss, but really appreciate you trying to do something and save other lives, and I think this is a great idea. It's my understanding that we're still waiting on a fiscal note to see, what institutions would say this may cost. I'm curious just about 2 things. Mm-hmm. If there are any institutions you're aware of that have already have stockpiles of this available, maybe just like an individual campus or an area where you could point to where, that's helpful and is saving lives. And then if there's just any data, I would imagine, that just shows having this on hand, again, is going to save lives. I think you did a great job sharing how we need to have this quickly available, yes. Right? All those steps to take. I heard you on the point too about, campus security. If they also don't have it on them, you're just waiting for too many folks to get that to the person who needs it. So again, my question is just if there's any campuses or areas that have already stockpiled, and then just any data you would point us to that shows how helpful this is to saving lives.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll talk about Metro.
Ms. Gabbert.
Thank you, Chair Fate. I will say that Metro State has partnered with the C. Rumler Hope Network. We have a basic needs vending machine on campus that any student can use their student ID and obtain a overdose antigen kit. The Basic Needs Department also has those kits on hand. And another great thing is that the community is able to come into the Basic Needs Department and obtain those kits as well when they ask from the Basic Needs Department. And with where Metro State is located, it's definitely useful to have those, for everyone, not just students. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Senator Umuravin? Awesome, thank you. Senator Putnam?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to chime in on Senator Umar-Rayton's question and know that it's anecdotal, but I know I dropped my daughter off at St. Olaf where she goes to school. She's a junior there now. And they have a very big box that says in big words, naloxone, at the actual entry point to the dorm. That's another thing to think about would be if there are schools of different varieties that are already doing things like this with the privates and the publics and the 2 years to see who's already doing things like this. But it is gratifying to me when I saw that box. I felt, even though I hope and pray my daughter will never need it, I'm glad she's in an institution that is that forward thinking and is caring about concerns like this in order to do that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Putnam. Are there any other questions or comments from members? Seeing none, before we re-refer it to HHS, any final closing remarks, Senator Weber?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Basically, what I would like to say is that, as we look at this issue, I think all of us as families hope and pray that we never have to experience what Will and his family experienced. And when he came to me, I was late in the session the first time, and it's really past the time we could get a hearing and what have you. And so as we brought forward the bill this year, we certainly hoped that we would get to this point and get this bill across the finish line. I have visited with the president of the Own Minskew institution in my district, and to say, is this a problem for your campuses in order to implement this? And he really did not think that it would be a problem whatsoever. And with that, I proceeded with this bill, and I certainly hope that we can help provide the saving of a life and the saving of the grief that families have already experienced, especially in light of the fact that we've seen such a proliferation of fentanyl and other drugs spread across this country in recent years. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Thank you, Senator. I will move that Senate File 164 as amended be recommended to pass and re-refer to the Committee on Health and Human Services. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Senate File 164 as amended is recommended to pass and re-refer to the Committee on Health and Human Services. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.